baby, we here. And if this is your first time joining Mental Push-Up Mondays, I'd just like to give a big old welcome to you. This blog is all about personal growth and development, about us becoming the best versions of ourselves, because by us doing that, we get the opportunity to create our best and most authentic lives. So again, welcome to you. But let's jump right into it. The title of today's message is Relationships 2.0. And so I just want to preface this before we dive in, is that I am certainly not an expert on this area. I am building and flying this plane as we speak. So this message was inspired because I have been working with a relationship coach. I've been talking about this for several weeks, and it's been very challenging, but yet so rewarding, I just want to say. And I've had some perceptions around relationships, and I've had some shifts in thinking that have really inspired me to actually do something different and move in a different way. And again, like to say, I am not perfect by the slightest, building and flying this as we speak, but I just wanted to share my key learnings, because I was thinking, I said, whether it's, the work what I'm talking about is like intimate partnership, that's where I've grown the most, but it almost, in most relationships, if we shifted our thinking and maybe looked at them in a different way, I think it could inspire us to maybe change our relationship and transform our relationships as well. So I just wanted to share my thoughts, but let's jump right into it. The first key learning for me was relationship is less about the other person and more about you in terms of growth. Now, I'm not saying, it's all about me, I'm David Ruffin up in this chat. I'm not saying that. What I am talking about in terms of growth. We cannot control other people, but we certainly can control ourselves. I think there's a huge layer of personal responsibility in terms of any relationship that we have. So when I first hired my coach, I just thought that this coach is going to give me some tools so I can improve my skills, and that's going to be it. However, most of the work that we have done has been, it's almost like working on me, facing myself, dealing with my unconscious patterns, because this is the thing. What I'm learning is we have situations and circumstances that shape us into who we are. And sometimes if we're not cautious and we're not aware of them and we don't work on them, then we can continue to repeat some of the same patterns. So I say all of that to say, relationships are personal growth machines. They literally, the challenges they present, they're there to help us grow and to help us face ourselves and get more reacquainted and reintroduced to who we really are. The second key learning for me was love is a verb, not a noun. It is an active thing. It is something we choose to do. And as I self-reflected, I recognized some of my patterns were that it's just based on how I feel, almost with condition. That was really hard truth to accept. But nobody's gonna be perfect. We all have things we come with, and it's literally goes back to that first point around personal responsibility and creating the type of relationships that we want. It's something you do. It's done with your actions. It's really key for me, because it's not based on I feel like loving you today. Because at some point I thought about my parents. I said, Lord knows, you have disappointed them at some point, yet they still decide to love you anyway. And so it's like, that's relationships. Loving people as they are, but oftentimes we put conditions on them. So I guess that's what I say when I'm talking about love as a verb. It's not based on conditions. It's a choice we decide to do to love someone as they are. Which leads to the third point. There's two pieces of things: acceptance and what's your drug of choice. And I say that because I think that acceptance, when you talk about relationship, it's accepting someone as they are. And I think the more that you accept yourself, the more that you're more willing to just accept people for this is what this person comes with. Okay. Now, but I think the other half of that is, what's your drug of choice? Because as we go back to point 2, at some point we are going to disappoint each other. In any relationship that we have, at some point one of us is going to disappoint each other. Conflict is going to show up. We could potentially have challenges. I think that's with any relationship. Whether I can think about like being on a team, anywhere, it's happening at some point. However, I think when we talk about acceptance and knowing what we want, we have to decide who's worth suffering for. Who's worth suffering for? Because at some point, we all too much. Everybody too much. But who's too much do I want to invite into my world? I think that's really what it's about. Who's too much do I want to accept? Because everybody comes with some. None of us are perfect. If you perfect, bless you. But I know I'm not. I know I can be a hot mess and I can be too much at times. But it's just who's the person that we're willing to accept as is and go on this journey through life with. So those are my tidbits, words of wisdom for the week. But let's wrap this thing up in a nice little bow. Number 1, relationship is more so about you. And I remember someone telling me this many, many years ago. They said you can only love someone as deeply as you love yourself, as deeply as you connect to yourself, as deeply as you can connect to another person. That's so deep, but now I understand it. That is so true. I feel that in my core. And the more that I deeply connect with myself, I feel more connected to others. And then, secondly, love is a verb. It is not based on how we feel, but it is something we actively and choose to do. And then thirdly, acceptance and who's worth suffering for. It's accepting others as they are, but us deciding who do we want to invite to our world, what relationships are meaningful and really add value to our life. So those are our tidbits, words of wisdom. Get out this week. Do those mental push-ups. Be bold. Be brave. Be you, because you, my friend, are beautiful. And I am